I say I don't want to fight Mexican is because I represent Mexico.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy.
Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo.
DavidBenavidez, known as the undefeated Mexican monster, has made his goals crystal clear and is fully focused on proving himself at the highest level.
Be the most feared fighter in boxing. Ever see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime? I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying, you're the closest thing I've seen to a big dude who fights like that. Oh, Canelo's ducking him. This dude's a monster. And I looked and I thought, am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're definitely right. You know, you're looking at a man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, you know, mess with his game. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not scared of nothing. You know, I accept and I invite war. You know, so if that's what the people of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia want to see, well, let's give it to them. I think everybody is starting to see that I'm fearless, I'm relentless, and I'll fight anybody to get my respect in the ring.
After watching Canelo Alvarez lose to TerenceCrawford, DavidBenavidez became more outspoken than ever, openly calling for a fight and accusing Canelo of being afraid to face him. For years, Benavidez has been the one opponent constantly linked to Canelo, yet the matchup has continued to stay out of reach. Despite heavy demand from boxing fans.
On Canelo, he was talking about how he didn't want to give DavidBenavidez the fight because he was being disrespectful.
When you look at the history of Canelo, all the fighters that was disrespectful, calling them out, and he fought all of them. But I just think from a Mexican standpoint, one being extra disrespectful towards the other, he took the sport out of it, and he just felt as if he wasn't going to give Benavidez the pay.
DavidBenavidez is ready to settle the rivalry once and for all and take back his place at the top. After Canelo Alvarez suffered a tough loss to TerenceCrawford, the criticism surrounding him has only grown louder. The boxing world was stunned when Crawford moved up in weight and delivered a performance that exposed weaknesses many fans had never seen before in Canelo. It was more than just a defeat, because it damaged the unbeatable image Canelo had built over the years. Even respected trainer Ronnie Shields believes Canelo may no longer be at his absolute best.
David Crawford by unanimous decision. He got that. You know, I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo.
While Oscar De La Hoya gave a detailed explanation of what went wrong for Canelo Alvarez, the fight became much bigger than a normal boxing match. It marked a turning point that opened the door for a challenge fans had been waiting years to see. During an interview with Inside the Ring, DavidBenavidez praised TerenceCrawford for his incredible achievement, saying Crawford deserves a place among boxing's all-time greats after moving up 3 weight classes and becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion. Benavidez also admired Crawford's toughness and determination, saying the fight showed just how fearless and driven he truly is, qualities many fighters can learn from.
I just want to give TerenceCrawford a great congratulations. You know, he's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, you can't take that away from him. TerenceCrawford should be on the Mount Rushmore in boxing, because not only did he go up 3 weight classes, he beat one of the best fighters of this generation. I don't remember any time in history where anybody has come up from 147 pounds and won the super middleweight championship. Not only just won, but the undisputed. He's won every single title. So, you know, man, that man, not only is he a great fighter, but you could tell in that fight by seeing this combination right now how much of a dog he is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of fighters could take a lot of notes from TerenceCrawford, not only physically, but as take notes in the heart aspect. And I give it all up to TerenceCrawford. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. And, you know, we salute TerenceCrawford.
Long before TerenceCrawford delivered his shocking win, DavidBenavidez had already been chasing Canelo Alvarez for years, constantly calling him out, while the highly demanded super middleweight showdown continued to stay out of reach.
3 WBC belts right here. I'm the best in the division. If they want to give me an opportunity now or later, I'm gonna keep winning. You know, like I said, I'm gonna be the greatest of my generation by the time I'm done, and my job is not complete until I make that happen. For Canelo and everybody else, it just shows everybody I'm not around. I'm here to stay. I just look at the facts. You know, the people want to see this fight more than Carlos Adames and Charlo. You know, that's why that fight hasn't happened. But for me and Canelo, we have motion. You know what I mean? I've been winning the fights I'm supposed to win in fantastic fashion. He has nobody else to fight. You know what I mean? So if they want to give it to me now, later, whenever, I'm not going to.
For years, DavidBenavidez, a two-time WBC champion with an unbeaten record of 30 wins and 25 knockouts, held the interim title and stood as one of the biggest threats to Canelo Alvarez and his dominance in the super middleweight division.
I don't really like to bash somebody because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him.
But that's what I'm saying. They spin the narrative on Instagram. Right. If I say something, they say this or that. But I only want what I earned.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it. From what the WBC told me, they say you win the title limiter, we'll give you a title shot. You win the WBC interim title, we'll give you a title shot. I've been in this position for 3 years. So just because Canelo, he could do what he wants, as he says,
right.
He's not going to fight the top competition. And he's holding all those belts hostage, bro. And it's not like you got other great fighters too. You got me and David Morrell's there. Yeah. How is it fair that these sanctioning bodies let him pick and choose who he wants to fight? And then the Canelo fans too that be talking shit, bro. Like, do you guys not want to see the best fights?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to make the best fights happen. And that's it. At the end of the day, I just want to give the fans what they want to see.
Opportunity was very real, with reports claiming that Canelo Alvarez was offered an incredible $70 million for the fight. DavidBenavidez also confirmed that he was guaranteed a flat payment of $5 million to help make the long-awaited matchup happen.
Scared of nobody. I've heard everybody that's been in front of me, and Canelo's no different. And I will hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts. It's crazy that he asked for 150 million or 200 million to fight me, but he still has the nerve to say that I don't bring nothing to the table. So if I didn't bring nothing to the table, why are you asking for more money than you won in your whole career if I don't mean anything? Maybe after he gets that money, he could buy himself a pair of balls. What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a f what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm #1 in the division, #1 contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the #1 or the #2 guys? Why is he asking $200 million? Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him by like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you're the cash cow, you can do whatever you want.
However, once DavidBenavidez agreed to the deal, all communications suddenly stopped. There were no further talks, no negotiations, and no clear response. Benavidez was not just another young contender making noise because he had already proven himself in the ring through tough battles. He strengthened his reputation with 2 major victories, first by defeating Caleb Plant in an intense grudge match, and then by completely overpowering the previously unbeaten Demetrius Andrade, to the point where Andrade's corner decided to stop the fight.
Canelo, Benavidez, if they fought, which I don't think they're going to fight no time soon, who you think will win?
Man, that's hard to say. I think both have pros and cons. You know, I feel like the things that Canelo does better than David, there's things that David does better than Canelo. In a way, I'm not comparing it to this fight, but it's like the better Bivol fight. You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised that Bivol won, or I'm surprised that Benavidez won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight, like who had the best camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
If David can get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, then, you know, that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. You know, if Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot, David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but, you know, would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? You know, no. So it's hard to say.
Reflecting on his journey, DavidBenavidez said that since he was 3 years old, his only goal has been to become the greatest boxer of all time, and he believes he is on the path to achieving it. He explained that this mindset is what drives him to chase the biggest fights and challenge the sport's top names.
You're looking at the one that's going to chase all of them. Like, these guys are monsters, but this is the monsters.
And what followed only made the situation even more intense and dramatic.
Canelo was 100% confident in himself. I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You
the
think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. How
sure.
does five?
You saw De La Hoya
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Call for DavidBenavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later. But I'm focused 100% on this fight.
Is there a possibility, or you just go one at a time and you also speak with your team?
Yeah, I go one at a time, but every is a possibility. Always.
Right.
But I've been in this position my whole life. One was that was in Toronto in 2012, 11. Then Mayweather, then Lara, then Cotto, then Callum Smith, then Golovkin, and then if I beat Benavidez, it's gonna be other guy there they want me to fight. So I've been in this position my whole life, but is that time when that fight they ask, I give it to them. Mm-hmm. But right now in this position I am, now is the time I need to ask. If the money is right.
Canelo's silence only fueled DavidBenavidez, leading to more direct and heated statements. In an interview with Inside the Ring, Benavidez said Canelo is definitely scared of him and questioned why a fighter would avoid someone who is openly calling him out instead of stepping in to prove it in the ring and earn a big payday. He pointed to Canelo's struggles against strong opponents like Benavidez, saying those fights showed weaknesses he believes Canelo also sees in him, not just speed and power, but also toughness and heart. Benavidez added that he is not afraid of facing elite fighters because it only pushes him to improve as a competitor. Now, entering what he sees as his prime, he believes Canelo missed his chance in the past and says that opportunity is gone, insisting the outcome would be different today.
Seeing him handle my presence he's definitely scared of me. If you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. Not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going in there and I want to prove myself to the world that I'm the greatest fighter. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't scare me to get in there with another great fighter because I know that elevates me and who I am as a competitor.
This was not just talk, but a clear message about his direction and goals. DavidBenavidez made it clear that the situation is more than simple rivalry talk, pointing to the ongoing complications in boxing, like weight divisions and top fighters avoiding certain matchups. He has now moved toward the light heavyweight division, where he feels stronger and more focused. When asked if he could still make 168 pounds, Benavidez firmly said no, adding that he has long moved on from that weight class. He also urged others to focus on fighters like TerenceCrawford instead, while making it clear he is now comfortable at 175 pounds and aiming for bigger names, like Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, as he continues chasing the biggest challenges in the sport.
He should have took the fight with me way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this confidence. I'm stepping into my prime. I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight. And like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer. I'm a warrior, and I go in there.
This shift changed the whole story around Canelo Alvarez, since it suggested that DavidBenavidez may even move beyond the weight class where Canelo currently holds all the major titles. In another development after the major win by TerenceCrawford, his trainer Brian McIntyre quickly shut down any idea of a fight with Benavidez, clearly saying they were not interested. This left Canelo in a more complicated position, with fewer reasons left to avoid the matchup that fans have been demanding the most.
The new guy steps up that says, I am the new guy to carry that torch forward.
Kind of like how when you beat Tyron Woodley, because you were the guy coming up and Tyron Woodley was a dominant champion for a long time and you beat the shit out of him. It's the same thing. I'm preparing very hard for this fight whenever it does happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I stay training, I stay evolving as a fighter. Not only do I want to prove to the fans, but I want to prove to myself that I'm the best in the world. So if the fight comes, good. If it doesn't, it's not the end of my career. And if he doesn't want to give me the opportunity at 168, that's why I'm going up to 175 right now. Because I'm not going to wait for nobody either. This fight's going to put me at the #1 contender to fight for the WBC title. And those are going to get unified at 175. So, like I said, dreams always come true. It doesn't matter if somebody else is trying to stop you. You're going to find your own way and you're going to make your dreams come true.
To be honest with you, man, let TerenceCrawford live. That's his weight class.
Okay.
I lost interest in 168 a long time ago. I know that we could get offered a lot of money to go down to 168, but I'm more comfortable at 175. I'm chasing better beef. I'm chasing Bivol. I'm chasing these other bigger. I'm chasing Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So I've been at 168, but I have no.
But Canelo Alvarez still seemed to have other options. At this stage of his career, he is at a major turning point. With the loss to TerenceCrawford still fresh and a rematch no longer in play, his schedule has opened up. He also has 2 fights remaining on his current contract, which has sparked a lot of speculation about what comes next. Many analysts believe DavidBenavidez is the most obvious and logical choice for his next big opponent, as a dangerous challenger who has clearly earned his shot.
Important to me to watch the next face of boxing, and beating Canelo, I think.
There is still a chance that Canelo Alvarez may go for a less risky opponent to protect his record and keep his reign going. Fans in the boxing world are now watching closely to see whether he finally steps up to face the challenge or continues to choose easier fights instead.
You fight, but you avoid the monster. You understand me? That's going to tank the rest of his career if he keeps trying to fight. Well, it's tough to say because he's made enough money that he can retire. He really has nothing else to prove. We saw him go up. He tested himself all the way up as far as he could go. He won the light heavyweight title, then he lost to B-Ball. So that shows us that the light heavyweight was his ceiling. And that's good enough. Really, right now, he got nothing else to prove. Of course, if you keep fighting, people going to demand you fight the monster because both you guys are Mexican. But to me, you probably shouldn't do that. You understand me? It's probably not a good fight for you at this point, for real, especially coming off a loss to TerenceCrawford. It's just, to me, I don't see the hunger there to really beat the monster. You understand me? And that's what my problem was already. I didn't think it was a good fight for him because I don't think the hunger is there. TerenceCrawford just showed us that the hunger is really not there anymore like that. You understand me? So you have to be extraordinarily hungry to go out there and beat the monster because you got to put pressure on him from round 1 to round 12 or it's not going to work. And if you're not hungry, you're not going to do that. Same thing he would have had to do to TerenceCrawford. You had to put pressure on him from round 1 to round, I'm talking about solid pressure, no space between them. He had to be in his chest for 12 rounds, but he ain't hungry enough to really do that. So if you're not hungry enough to do that, don't go waste your time. Just call it a day because everybody's going to want to see you fight the monster. I don't know if they're going to be cool with you fighting anybody else, but they're going to keep pushing the monster narrative at you. You feel me? Now, if he wants to have a few more fights for himself, that's cool, but then he's going to get it's going to get very tainted with the fact they're going to say, yeah, you fighting, but you avoiding the monster. You understand me? That's going to tank the rest of his career if he keeps trying to fight. So it's better for him.
However, a major new influence is now shaping these big fight decisions. Turki Al-Ushir, a key figure in Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, has been rapidly changing the boxing landscape with huge financial backing and strong influence over major events. He has openly teased blockbuster fights, including a possible super middleweight clash between TerenceCrawford and DavidBenavidez, a matchup that could completely bypass Canelo Alvarez. This growing Saudi support for mega fights is adding even more pressure and complexity to the sport, as massive money offers are now driving decisions more than ever.